Welcome to the Urban Politician Show. I am your host, Donald Blount, and over the next hour, I'm going to occupy your mind with the latest social and political topics. It is my goal to tap into your social and political consciousness to bring about activism and change within our community. Where's the movement? Greetings. I'm Kazem Dejamu, and this is the Urban Politician Show. It's been 4 long years since I've done one of these, but I think it's time. Today's show is why not Bernie Sanders in this 2020 election? Oh, I see some people in the audience kind of like that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yes, we need to. Now, we could talk about Bernie's policies. Let's talk about Medicare for all. We can talk about free tuition for college students, waiving student debt. I think these are all great programs. In fact, I would love free health care. I don't have health care, but we really got to get into the numbers. Interesting enough, I read somewhere today from one of his supporters that they think that he's the best viable candidate, that the issues are, he can't tell you what the cost of his programs are, and will be, but that's okay. But that's not okay. I think one of the things that we're accustomed to doing is politicians coming in and promising us various different things, and we can't hold them accountable or they can't deliver. So how can you promise to put these programs together and you don't know what the cost is to the voter? So let's look at this. To begin with, the United States debt is over $1 trillion as of November of 2019. Right? So we all know the Trump tax cuts. They were a little clever with that this time, because never before have Republicans put a tax cut in without reducing spending. Right? You got to make cuts in order, when you're reducing the revenue coming in, you got to cut programs in order to pay for it. Well, they didn't do that this time. The reason why they didn't do it this time is because they wanted to force the hands of Congress to cut these programs when the deficit balloons. So there's no debate on whether or not we should privatize Social Security. Got various different programs, mental health. We go on down the line that they're slashing, that they will begin to slash and cut what already has been slashed and cut. So now that you have a ballooning deficit, at some point taxes are going to have to be raised to Bill Clinton era tax rates at 39+%, just to deal with the national debt. Now we add on these programs for Bernie Sanders, when you're talking about free health care, college tuition, waiving the student debt. That's just 3. That is also going to have to be taxed on top of the already current tax rate. So it's akin to, you're behind on your mortgage, and then you go out and you buy a luxury car. Let's think about that, right? So if you're behind in your mortgage, every household, what you would do is you would find a way to reduce your spending and increase your revenue in order to catch up and then maintain your mortgage payments. But if you go out and you buy a luxury car, before you even do that, you're adding more expenditures on top of bad debt already. No one will do that. You wouldn't do it, nor should the federal government do it. So this is why this is nonsensical, and this is why it's very important that we really look at these numbers. Now, we're not even going to go into, if he becomes the nominee, that moderate Democrats will more than likely lean towards Trump. You know, you got Ohio, you got Pennsylvania, you have Wisconsin, you have Michigan. He has to win those states, right? Those people in the middle, moderates, they understand the numbers. It's not that we don't want these free items, but it's about the numbers. Because at some point, they have to be paid for. And that burden is going to become on the taxpayers. Now, we can say the top 100%, but when you're talking about an already $1 trillion debt, now you're adding on billions and billions on top of that. Everyone down the line, including the lowest realm of people, their taxes are gonna increase. So you're talking about tax increases on people that really can't afford a tax increase. You gotta have it because at some point you have to balance the budget. It just doesn't make sense. Now I get it, there's really no viable candidates out there. In fact, this is the first time in 30 plus years I'm undecided. I didn't even think you can be undecided. I used to think people undecided were really trying to be coy. But the truth of the matter is, there's no good candidate. The truth of the matter is, you have to ask the question, is it policy you're looking for, or do you just want to beat Trump? And I'm still asking myself that question, and I don't have the answer for it. But I do know this, the numbers don't add up. Bernie is not giving you the cost of his programs for no reason at all.
No.
He's not giving it to you because he knows it's no way possible he's gonna get it passed through even a Democratic House or Senate. Because nobody wants that tax increase. That's suicide. So we really have to think about this when we look at these free programs. You know, when people hear free, we run to it, right? But there's no such thing as free. This is a capitalistic society. Somebody's gonna pay for it. And the top 1% of the top wage owners, they can afford to tax it. They don't want it, but they can afford it. The question is, can you afford for your taxes? To give you an example, if any of you have ever had a bonus, a large bonus, or you're on commission. So let's say you get a $2,000 bonus at 35% rate. That's $700 off the top at 35%. So you think you're getting $2,000 and your net check says $1,400, right? That's at 35%. Currently, our tax rate is lower than that because of Trump. But at 35%, we was able to at least maintain a semblance of a budget. It still was a budget overture, but that was the pre-Trump tax rate. Under Bernie Sanders, that potentially can go up above 50%. So you gotta think about the numbers, right? I know what you're saying is if I don't have to pay for these high insurance rates through my job, if I don't have to pay for college tuition, I'd rather it be taxable. But we're talking about potentially over 50% of your income. Bernie Sanders likes to talk about Sweden has Medicare for all or a socialized system. Sweden's current tax rate is over 50% of your income. That's a lot. That's huge. So it takes that in order to have Medicare for all in some of the programs. But are we prepared to have our tax rate at 50%? I don't know about you, but I'm not. There has to be other ways in order to do that where it's not, yes, I can see a semblance of a tax rate. I can go up to 35%. I might even be willing to go to 37, 38%. But 50%, even 40, 45%, is way too high. We won't be able to maintain our current standard of living off a 40 to 45% plus 50% or higher tax rate. Just wanted to give you something to think about. Peace, family. We'll do another one on another candidate at a later date.